Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Cleveland TV. My name is Olamide Fawemi, and I will be your host today. Before we proceed, for more information, please log on to www.cleveland.com. And today, I have a special guest for today, who is the Chairman Emeritus Nigerians in Diaspora Europe, Mr. Collins Nweke. Good afternoon, Mr. Collins Nweke. Can you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Thank you very much. Congratulations to Cleveland Television for the great work that you are doing. Well, I don't know that there is very much more to say about me other than the introduction that you have given. I'm Collins Nweke, Chairman Emeritus Nigerians in Diaspora Organization Europe. Before then, I had served as General Secretary of the organization, and that was after my time as its Chief Executive at the headquarters in London. So I'm a Nigerian diaspora through and through.
Thank you, Mr. Collins, for that introduction. We'll be looking at some important topic today, and if I may ask you, Mr. Collins, why is diaspora voting important?
Diaspora voting is important first and foremost because citizens of any country, under any guise whatsoever, should not be excluded from choosing who leads them as a country. Now, the fact that you live outside Nigeria should not be a reason at all for you not to participate in the electoral system, either as a candidate or as a voter in the elections of that country. Because the most important thing is that you are a citizen of that country, and so you are an important stakeholder. Now, the fact that you live outside the country actually presents, some sort of logistical issues, and I wouldn't call it logistical challenges because, Nigeria is not about to, do something that has not been done, somewhere else in the world when they, take care of the logistics to ensure that the diaspora vote. So it is not a challenge. It is an issue that needs to be sorted out. And that is why, I believe that diaspora voting has been, debated in different shapes and in different formats. So, yes, it is very important. I do not want to even go into the value that the Nigerian diaspora represents, because doing so may actually insinuate that those in Nigeria that are able to vote do not represent important values for Nigeria. That's not the case. Everybody matters, everybody counts. So the fact that Nigerians in diaspora remit, billions of US dollars into the Nigerian economy is an additional reason, but it is not the main reason for Nigerians in diaspora to be able to be allowed to vote. The main reason is that they are Nigerians and they should not be disenfranchised.
Thank you so much, Dr. Collins. I have another question for you, sir. Why is diaspora voting not passed into the law?
That's a very important question that actually hits at the heart of the conversation that we're having today. First and foremost, diaspora voting, as it has been, come to be known, in the last period, is something that has been on for quite a while. In terms of it not being part of the Nigerian agenda in the first place, up until about mid 2000. I'm talking of sometime around, 2004, when it became an issue, and that was following the National Political Reforms Conference. My office at the time, I was a chief executive of Nigerians in diaspora in Europe. My office felt that the National Political Reforms Conference was a golden opportunity for Nigerians in diaspora, having now been organized by with facilitation of President Olusegun Obasanjo, to now push the issue and ensure that whatever legislative issues that are on the ways of Nigerians in diaspora to be able to vote would then be captured in the National Political Reforms Conference and then packaged as part of the recommendations that will be sent to the legislators, because you will have to remember that the essence of the National Political Reforms Conference is to package some recommendations. Decisions are not to be taken there. Whatever comes from them is recommendation, and then they have to be assented to by the by the National Assembly, as a matter of fact. So we felt that was the golden opportunity to do that, and so with that National Political Reforms Conference, the foundation stones of the Nigerian diaspora voting was actually laid when we presented,
Clevenard Business Matchmaker is an innovative social platform that delivers result-driven campaigns and marketing solutions for businesses in all sectors, such as law firms, restaurants, hospitality, real estate, medical finance, manufacturers, beauty, events, retailers. In fact, we are the marketing social platform for everything. A dating site for businesses matchmaking. At Clevenard, we bring together startups and more established businesses together, where you can find people who share your interests. Members can build their profiles, send messages, friend people, interact with each other, share interests, and much more. Take a minute to fill in your profile and tell the world about yourself. At Clevenard Business Matchmaker, we know that personalized online identity and business timeline are crucial to the growth of every business. We've designed Clevenard Business Matchmaker to help businesses to own a personalized timeline in just 2 minutes. Easy search functionality. The personalized timeline is designed to feature all your business ideas with complete search functionalities, which help users navigate through all your listed services, products, or ideas for customers to contact you directly. Sign up today at www.clevenard.com. It's free.
A concept note and was carried to Abuja to the conference by the diaspora representatives at the time, Dr. Olufemi. His surname has Olufemi. Well, his surname has escaped me. I'm sure I will remember. And then Dr. Olakasim of NIDO Americas. And they defended, the notion very passionately, and it was accepted as part of the recommendation. That was how, the story started. And since then, there have been a whole lot of ping pong, back and forth, whether it will be allowed or it will not be allowed. And then that was within the National Assembly. But it made a good start and then got stuck with the National Assembly. A few other things happened until, the voting it down that happened a few months back.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. And if I may ask, how do we ensure that voting in diaspora is allowed?
Well, first and foremost, I think it is important to, have what you can call a post-mortem. How did the latest attempt fail? I think that is the the critical question that need to be posed, and the answer in terms of what you then do to ensure that the diaspora voting is passed into law will be found in that post-mortem. Now, I think the jury is out there, but from my personal perspective, there are a few ironies that I find a bit, difficult to reconcile. Number one, the president of Nigeria, the current president, and indeed successive presidents from Olusegun Obasanjo, post-military regime, up until the current president, General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, are on record to have supported, at least by words of their own mouth, the notion of diaspora voting. Now, if you go down also to the leadership of the National Assembly, I do not know anyone within the leadership of the National Assembly that has said that they are against diaspora voting. If anything, they have spoken out positively for diaspora voting. The House Committee chairperson at the National Assembly and her counterparts in the Senate also favor diaspora voting. So too, the chairperson of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM. These are all very important figures that support the diaspora voting. Then you begin to ask yourself, where is the problem? Because the diaspora themselves are on the demand side of this diaspora voting. Now, the only conclusion you can draw out of this, long line of critical stakeholders supporting diaspora voting, yet it didn't pass into law, is that the system was not well managed. Now, I will pause a while to explain what I mean by that. The diaspora, represented by NIDO, Nigerians in Diaspora Organizations, have actually initiated and anchored the agitation for diaspora voting, of course, in consultation and in collaboration and partnership with other diaspora groups and their counterparts back in Nigeria. And then emerged NIDCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The expectation was that NIDCOM will be the one to now, under its mandate to galvanize the diaspora and drive and manage the process, that they will now take ownership of this and then organize the table in such a way that they bring the National Assembly, on board and ensure a seamless passage. It doesn't appear like this happened, because if it happened, we would have been able to have a bipartisan across the board support that is needed to pass the diaspora voting. But what we have seen is a situation where the diaspora more or less are pitched against one another, and there appear to be some semblance of infighting and actually not speaking, in one voice as far as the diaspora voting is concerned. And so that may have contributed to, the reason that it was not passed. So lack of purposefulness and the inability to work across board. In terms of political party, APC alone is insufficient to pass diaspora voting. So it has to be, a mixture of politicians from both APC and PDP and other political parties working together collaboratively under the leadership of NIDCOM to see the diaspora voting passed. That didn't happen, and even the diaspora themselves, appeared to have been working at cross purposes, because some groups may have attempted to, dominate, take ownership, and take credit for a diaspora voting right when it is passed. So that is where I can situate the problem. Now, I had to go this hog explaining all of this so you understand the genesis of the problem, because like I said, if we want to get it right, then we need to then go back to where the problem was in the first place and walk it down the line.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful insight. If I may ask, let's assume that we have voting rights in diaspora. How do we mobilize and educate ourselves to participate in diaspora voting?
The answer to that question can very easily be found in the current, electoral cycle, that is the general election of 2023. Now, I do not even want to go down the memory lane to remind you of how active and participative the Nigerian diaspora have been in terms of either being a candidate themselves or actually routing for their candidates. So the point I'm trying to make is that the Nigerian diaspora is a very, very active constituency of the entire electoral system in Nigeria. And so the mobilization has actually started even before the diaspora voting is passed to law. The social media is there. There are meetings, and there is also NIDO that is, bipartisan. They are not involved in politics, but they don't stop anybody, and they provide voter education. They have some chapters of NIDO have actually participated in election monitoring in Nigeria. So mobilizing people, working together with the community organizations of Nigeria as well as the embassies in concert with NIDO will definitely ensure, the mobilization that you talked about. And so I don't see that, as any challenge at all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Collins. If I may ask, do you think there's any chance for Nigerians in diaspora to vote in 2023?
That's a very good question. The positive side of me that sees a cup as half full instead of half empty will say to you that yes, why not? The chance ought to be there. There have been an error, a monumental error, of voting down diaspora voting at the time that the golden opportunity was there to do it. But a legislative step could be taken to actually normalize that situation. Let's not forget that along with the diaspora voting that was, actually voted down, the women empowerment, political empowerment was also voted down. The women, they took up the fight immediately, and, they were able to cow the, and I mean it positively, the National Assembly to accept to reconsider the, women representation in political participation in Nigeria. It's not very clear to me exactly what they are going to do, but I believe that if the will is there, the INEC can make the necessary provisions, and the National Assembly can take it all from there and ensure that the legislative empowerment is done, and then consent given to diaspora voting in good enough time, for the February 2023 election. That's the positive side of me speaking. I do hope, that they can take such a recommendation seriously and not begin to say that, time is up, we're not going to be able to do this or do that. But I think if the will is there, they can do it.
Okay, sir. How then do we organize an acceptable diaspora voting system?
To organize an acceptable diaspora voting system, pardon me if I come across simplistic, but I want to say that it is as easy as ABC. The reason it's as easy as ABC is as follows. Number one, we've had an exercise in Nigeria called, BVN, Bank Verification Number. Yes. Next to that, there is this ongoing, national identity number. It's ongoing in diaspora and also back in Nigeria. And then thirdly, we have the biometrics, passport capturing. So which means that out of these three tools, you have very veritable and verifiable data capture system to be able to know the Nigerian diaspora that hold Nigerian passport outside Nigeria, to have their data, and with their data, you can then walk it through to
Let's sell on your behalf. If your item sells on our web shop, you pay a 10% commission plus the transaction fees, and you get the rest. Register now at www.shop.clevenard.com. Start uploading your product and services. We can really sell it on your behalf so you can carry on working on the things important to you. Are you looking to sell any type of product or service and you want to avoid the hassle involved? Selling can be an arduous and time-consuming process. At Clevenard Super Shop, we will be happy to take over the workload of promoting or selling your products or services. All you need to do is to register at www.shop.clevenard.com, enter your shop or vendor information, and then start uploading your product and services. We will do the selling. Now, be ready to get more sales and awareness. Start making more money from your business with Clevenard Super Shop by partnering with us today.
It's true to registration for what they call permanent voters card, PVC, because it's not enough that Nigerian diaspora are registered and captured. You also have to indicate your interest. So you have the right to vote. Your citizenship of Nigeria gives you that automatic right to vote. But then, because voting is not compulsory in Nigeria, you also have to indicate your interest and your willingness to vote through the PVC exercise. The embassy can be the anchor house for that. Anyway, there is no other alternative. The representative of the government of Nigeria outside Nigeria is the embassy and the consulates and high commission. These are the houses where the registration can take place. And I must add that there are a number of Nigerian diaspora that are actually involved in organizing elections of the host countries where they vote. So the human capital to get it organized is not lacking. And like I said, with the three examples of existing tools that I mentioned, the basis is already laid. The rest is simply to build on it and get it done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Can you please tell our viewers how can we ensure that votes that are our voters, Nigerians in diaspora, are free and fair?
Well, there have been the issue of votes counting in Nigeria. That issue is still very much alive. It creates a whole lot of concern for a whole lot of people. But incrementally, I believe that there are good reasons to believe that INEC, has been at work over the years to actually make that a thing of the past. Let us recall the latest, off-season election that took place in the state of Osun. Not only that it improved on the one that took place in Ekiti State in terms of voter buying and so on and so forth. The transmission, the electronic transmission of the result was very swift and very, very efficient. The collation of the vote itself, because it took place electronically, was also something very, very desirable. Now, the point to be made there is that our electoral system, is improving more and more people are having more confidence in that. And, kudos to INEC. That is not to say that, it is all done and dusted. No, there is still, we still have a whole lot of work to do. But let me just make a link with, the nonsense that happened in Ekiti State, where they were proven allegations of, vote buying, intimidation, right in the presence of, law enforcement agents and so on and so forth. That appears to be a very, very serious sore, and in fact, a wound on the conscience of INEC, believing that they will still do something, but that it happened with the sort of impunity that took place there is, very, very serious issue. Are we expecting that such vote buying can possibly take place in the diaspora? Certainly not. The diaspora, we are talking of experienced, exposed, and educated people who know what they want and have a very strong desire and passion for things to get better in Nigeria, because we all feel disgraced as Nigerian diaspora when we continue to be in the mouth of countries, lesser countries than Nigeria, in very negative ways. So Nigerian diaspora will vote with decorum. They will protect their votes, and everything will work seamlessly.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. So please tell me, how come the current Nigeria diaspora politics is now geared towards the prenatal era, where literally thousands of Nigerians in diaspora have been pitched against one another?
It is a shame that that is the way it is, but the picture you have painted essentially is accurate. And let me throw in a word or two, to help your viewers to understand what you meant by pre-NIDO era, and then of course the post-NIDO era that has now occasioned a return back to the era that we were supposed to, have written off as history. Now, before President Olusegun Obasanjo, in his wisdom, actually facilitated the establishment of Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, NIDO, we had literally thousands of Nigerian organizations, Nigerian community organizations, professional organizations, and all of that scattered in the length and breadth of the world. Now, when President Obasanjo had a tour after his election in February 1999, and prior to him being sworn in, he did a global tour, and he was amazed at the quality and quantum of Nigerians in diaspora he met. And he also found out that not very many of them were ready to, pack their baggage and return back to Nigeria on his invitation to serve in his administration. But he quickly realized as well that there must be a way to organize these Nigerians outside Nigeria to be able to be in their base outside Nigeria, but also be in the possibility to contribute to national development of Nigeria. That was how he came about this idea of Nigerians in Diaspora Organization. And before that, there had been considerations of whether they will adopt existing Nigerian organizations to be able to, provide the umbrella needed for Nigerian diaspora policy to thrive in Nigeria. after a whole lot of considerations, it was felt that, Nigeria not having is representative in terms of an organization that will be the partner of government in national development doesn't augur well for Nigeria, and it is going to be counterproductive to actually organizing the diaspora in such a way that they make meaning, they make sense to Nigeria. So they decided to form this single organization and encourage actively every other Nigerian community professional organization to join forces with NIDO to be able to provide that umbrella that is needed. Now, I cannot tell you that NIDO has been an angel all of these years. There have been areas where the organization had actually run short of expectations, but we also know that in any constituency where there is a supportive government official like ambassadors, like chairperson of a House Committee on Diaspora, that NIDO's task is made easier. But what we have seen is a situation where some ambassadors and some political leaders in Nigeria are actually returning back to that pre-NIDO era where they believe that it is better to relate with different organizations of Nigeria rather than, having direct relationship with NIDO and encouraging all other organizations to actually, join forces with NIDO. So when you talk about a return to pre-NIDO era, which is counterproductive, that's exactly what it means. And the outcome is that people are not talking in one voice, the one voice that NIDO was meant to provide. And that is because people in high places, in political offices, and also some, ambassadors are encouraging that division to the detriment of both the Nigerian diaspora and Nigeria as a country. And the, most prominent victim of, that malpractice and, mismanagement is the failure to secure the diaspora voting.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Another question for you. If please explain to our viewers, if we were given voting right in diaspora, how do we protect our vote not to be reached?
Well, there can never be 100% certainty that fraud will not occur anywhere. The only thing that you can do, and I believe that INEC is doing that. We have seen it, like I said earlier, we've seen it play out, with the off-season election in Osun. To a large extent, we also saw it play out in Ekiti. I mean, the transmission of the result wasn't an issue, so that is very, very clear. The issue with Ekiti was more of vote buying, intimidation, and all of that. So I believe that with the robust architecture that IT architecture that INEC has in place, I believe that it is perfectly possible for Nigerians in diaspora to vote, their votes securely transmitted to Nigeria, and their vote ultimately counting.
Thank you, sir. You mentioned something earlier on saying fraud will not occur. What gives you the courage to say that?
Well, I derive my courage from the fact that incrementally, INEC has been actually sharpening their tools. They have managed to plug, some of the, loopholes that have been identified over the years. And I mean, it's not just Collins Nweke talking. We have seen that, like I mentioned earlier, happen with the Osun election. Yes, I admit that, it is not yet Uhuru. There are still work to be done. But we have seen that INEC is not resting on its oar. They have, continued to incrementally work on the system. So it is work in progress, and I am confident that it can only get better rather than getting worse.
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Collins. Let's look at the mobilization. Aside from being in diaspora, how do we mobilize our people back home and convince them regarding the coming 2023 presidential election?
Well, this is happening both collectively and individually. I mean, the mobilization. So the mobilization of the electorate in Nigeria by the Nigerian diaspora is happening collectively because you are probably aware that out here in the diaspora, the major political parties also have their branches, their political party antennas, okay? At the same time, the different candidates do have their support groups that cut across, global boundaries. So it is not like support groups are limited to just Nigeria. Out in the diaspora, you have different, support groups, and then you also have the family relationships. Out here in the diaspora, for every Nigerian in diaspora, there are an average of 5 dependents in Nigeria. People who rely on this Nigerian diaspora to actually, for their livelihood, both in terms of supporting their businesses, both in terms of upkeep, medical fees, school fees for nephews and nieces and cousins, and then upkeep of parents. So those dependents actually listen to the people out in the diaspora. And I know that more than any time else in our history, the 2023 election is being seen, especially by the Nigerian diaspora, and because that is the essence of our conversation, as a very critical moment in the political history of Nigeria. And so, what we have seen, and if you check the record, you will discover the point that I'm making, that as candidates, there have never been any time in our history when more candidates for the different elective positions in Nigeria, that Nigeria has had it more than this coming 2023 election. That shows participation. And so the Nigerian diaspora are also reaching out, actively to their, relatives back in Nigeria, friends and associates, to encourage them to be part of the elections. We have seen records that registration for PVC actually went up astronomically. Part of the reason is the diaspora encouraging their people to be, part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Let's take a look at the issue of PVC. We have a lot of Nigerians in diaspora who are yet to acquire their PVC, and they are willing to go back home. Like I heard that there's a date, a closure date for the PVC, and this same people are willing to cast their votes. How? What can you say about that? How is it possible for them to cast their vote without having a PVC?
Ordinarily, you cannot cast your vote if you haven't got the permanent voters card PVC. Our understanding is that the process has closed, I believe, on the 31st of July. So anybody ordinarily, except something changes, except INEC decides otherwise, anybody who hasn't gotten the PVC by 31st July 2022 will not be in a position to vote. I believe as well, like I said earlier, or like I recommended earlier, if the will is there, arranging things legislatively, logistically, and otherwise to enable Nigerians in diaspora to vote in the February 2023 election is possible. Where that doesn't work, I believe that an alternative must be to open up a window where registration for PVC could be done at the embassies of Nigeria. Now, that is not to say that through the back door, people are trying to secure diaspora voting without, the necessary legislative, impetus. No, that is not the case. Because indeed, there are people who are able to take up that window of opportunity to register for PVC at the embassies and then travel to Nigeria in February to physically cast their vote in Nigeria. That is something that should be given a serious consideration as alternative to, reopening the diaspora voting rights being passed into law to enable it to happen for February 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. And looking at politics and diaspora, some people, Nigerians in diaspora, tend to be more interested in politics in diaspora. Why is it so?
I'm not sure I understand clearly the question. Is interested in politics in Nigeria, in diaspora? Do you mean the politics of their host countries or the politics of Nigeria? I'm not sure I'm clear about
the politics of Nigeria.
Oh, the Nigerian diaspora are very much in tune with what is happening in Nigeria, and because they feel that they hold a stake in the development of Nigeria, even when they no longer live there, because they feel that way, they believe that the best way to achieve a sustainable change is through, political participation as a voter or as a candidate or as an activist. Now, all of these, options, candidate, as a voter and as an activist, advocating for good governance, advocating for diaspora voting and the rest of them. These are things that an average Nigerian diaspora take very, very seriously, because Nigerian diaspora haven't got another home. It is said that, East-West home is the best. For the diaspora, it is not different. Even the vast majority of those who have actually made it out here in the diaspora are living a very, very, cozy life, have prospects for the future and so on for themselves and for their children. Even at that, their heart is still very much in Nigeria, and that is the reason that they continue to be, part of political development back in Nigeria.
Okay, sir. Do you think voting in diaspora could be implemented by the law?
Oh, yes. I do not see why it will not be implemented. I believe that Nigeria has gone past the stage of if. I think Nigeria is now at a stage of when it will be implemented. There is this saying in my part of Nigeria that anyone who picks something that belongs to a child and puts it up in the air so that the child will not be able to access it, at some point your hand will begin to ache. You will drop your hand, and the child will pick that legitimately belongs to him or her. I believe that that analogy could be applied to diaspora voting. there was a time when it was a no-go area in terms of conversations with, legislators. But at some point, all the questions they have been answered. Yes, there will always remain a few people with sinister motives, a few people with unsubstantiated fear of, rigging, and so on and so forth. But then there will also be those who are inherently fearful of the diaspora because they believe that diaspora voting stands in the way of their political ambitions, their political goals, because it might make a difference. Yes, those individuals will continue to stand on the way of diaspora voting. But you know the good news. The good news is that they are in the minority. The majority will definitely at some point ensure that diaspora voting is passed into law, and the Nigerian diaspora will then be able to vote in Nigerian elections. So it's not when, it is not if, it is when.
So when do you think this law will be implemented?
I think this law will be passed and then ultimately implemented because it is the right thing to do. The time is now. Nigeria will not be, making world records if they allow their diaspora to vote. Like I said, smaller countries, less consequential countries in Africa and other parts of the world actually allow for diaspora voting. As a matter of fact, in Senegal, 23 electoral legislative seats are actually reserved for the Senegalese diaspora. That is as far as they have gone. So it is a shame that Nigeria has allowed itself to be playing catch up as far as diaspora voting is concerned. It is an imperative of our time, and I believe that the crop of Nigerian diaspora that we have presently are very, very active. They are working day in, day out to ensure that the Nigerian diaspora voting becomes a reality. And you can be rest assured they are not going to rest until it happens.
I hope it happens as soon as possible. Okay, Dr. Collins, to my own understanding, I understand that the major problem that we have in Nigeria is it's language and culture and tribalism. Do you believe in one Nigeria?
I am an unrepentant believer in one Nigeria. Now, I also believe, incidentally, that the vast majority of Nigerians, knowingly or unknowingly, are believers in one Nigeria. Now, when we play football as a team and we perform well, nobody is interested in the language or ethnicity or whatever of the team players, especially those that make the highest mark. Now, when Toby won the world records a few weeks back and actually placed Nigeria in global map, nobody was asking the question of whether Toby was Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa. We simply rallied around our daughter who made us proud. Now, the issue of ethnicity is being used by political figures to create division in Nigeria. Gradually, but steadily, Nigerians are beginning to discover that trick. And gradually and steadily, Nigerians will begin to jettison that divisive politics and embrace Nigeria that is one, united, and indivisible. You can see that, for Christ's sake, in the young people that we have in Nigeria today, the Nigerian youths. they are born in and they grew up and got educated in places other than where their parents and grandparents, came from. They
Start your own internet radio station for as low as €6.99 per month. We provide affordable radio streaming and hosting plans for everyone. And there are two main things that make us the best. We are here to make high-performance radio hosting online affordable and to outshine all the others when it comes to hosting plans and broadcasting services. High quality. Stream at any bitrate with our wide range of Icecast and Shoutcast hosting plans. Auto DJ. Easily start broadcasting with our complete automation platform. No software is required. Unlimited. All plans include unlimited listeners and bandwidth, allowing you to broadcast worry-free. Broadcast worry-free with unlimited internet radio hosting. We provide premium streaming services with unbeatable pricing and quality support. Create your own online radio station today. it.clevenard.com.
They maintain their roots in terms of ethnicity, but they are not ready to call the next door neighbor who happens to come from a different ethnicity an enemy just because they come from different parts of Nigeria. So we can see that already changing. It is not going to be long in happening when those who have chosen to use ethnicity, religion, and all of that as political tool to divide Nigeria, it is not long anymore before they are all retired and sent back to that village where they belong to, and then the new Nigeria will be built by the young people that do not see ethnicity, do not see language, do not see religion. They see one Nigeria.
And that's a beautiful one, Mr. Collins. Please tell the viewers what are the major roles of Nigerians in diaspora regarding the 2023 presidential election.
The major role that is naturally cut out for Nigerian diaspora as far as the 2023 election is concerned is actually supportive. Supportive in the sense that already, you have to be blind not to see, the groundswell of, activism, support for, mobilizing people to get their PVC. I've seen a lot of, professionally done videos going around encouraging, especially Nigerian youth to get their PVC. And then ultimately the focus now is changing to, helping them to see through the candidates that have put themselves up, have applied for the job of especially being the president of Nigeria. Different groups are carving up different characteristics to be able to help to enable people decide who actually fits the bill. That is the stage that we are now. No, Nigerians in Nigeria are doing that on their own. Nigerians in diaspora are supporting them. And one thing that the Nigerian diaspora bring to the table is the fact that they happen to live and work in places where things are done differently, if not better than in Nigeria. So they have that knowledge and experience of things working in the places where they are, and they are able to play that supportive role, to their counterparts in Nigeria in terms of giving them ideas and together with them determining how some of those ideas are transferable to the Nigerian system such that it helps us, achieve a highly informed, highly educated. Highly education here means voter education, not necessarily, academic education. So we're seeing all of that happening, and the diaspora is playing a supportive role in seeing that to conclusion.
And what are the kind of supportive roles that the Nigerians in diaspora are giving back to the Nigerians, to the people back home?
For a start, in the each period of registration for PVC, I know for certain a number of Nigerians who have picked up the phone and called nephews, nieces, cousins, and all of that in Nigeria.
In terms of mobilizing.
In terms of mobilizing them to say, come on, get up your backside, go and register for your PVC. If there are some financial, bottlenecks, for example, transportation to get there, because at some point people were spending a whole day, or money for refreshment to take care of themselves while they are there, they send them money. That is as importantly as they took it. That was where we were at that stage. Right now, part of the supporting role they play as well is supporting the different candidates, both Nigerians, Nigerian diaspora that are candidates to be, elected in the election. Nigerian diaspora counterparts and colleagues are supporting them, but also supporting candidates in Nigeria that they believe will get Nigeria from the abysmal state that it is now to the place that Nigeria ought to be.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. As the Chairman Emeritus Nigeria in Diaspora Europe, what advice can you give to the youths back home regarding the presidential election 2023?
I am not sure the Nigerian youth need my advice. The reason I say this is you need to have a conversation with a sample of them, a good number, just do a good sampling, have a conversation with them, and you cannot be left in any doubt that the Nigerian youth know what they want. They do not need people from my generation and the generation before us that have failed them woefully to begin to tell them what to do or what not to do. I think the most important thing is for us, my generation and the generation before mine, to find out what the Nigerian youth want, and then support them along the line of what they want. And then I'll tell you what I think that they want.
Okay.
Nigerian youth want somebody to occupy the Azure rock that actually gives them perspective. Somebody that will make the corruption that we have in Nigeria today a thing of the past. Somebody that is fit and proper, both physical fitness and all of that. Somebody that is not shy to address issues. Somebody that is not corrupt. Somebody that is whose origin, whose pedigree, and provable and demonstrable track record is out there for everybody to see. Somebody does not have any question mark on his integrity as a consequence of a position or a tool that the person may have held in the past. That is what the Nigerian youth want, and the role that the Nigerian diaspora can play is supporting them in identifying such individuals and encouraging them to use their vote wisely because they have the strength. Don't forget that analysis of registered voters so far states that over 61% are Nigerian youth. So what that means essentially is that they have the key in their hands to the Azure rock, and they can hand it to whoever they please. That is as strong as the power that they have is, and they should use it appropriately.
Thank you, sir. Let me take you back to where you mentioned corruption. You said corruption will be a thing of the past in Nigeria. Do you think corruption can be erased in the history of Nigeria?
There is corruption everywhere, even in the best country of the world. Now and again, you hear of one or two corrupt practices, say in China, that can be cited as, an example of an organized communist society. In the United States of America, you hear also of the 6th January committee that is looking into, different atrocities that ex-President Donald Trump is alleged to have committed. In Europe, you hear all sorts of things. I mean, Boris Johnson was forced to, recently announce his resignation effective 5th September this year. He was found wanting in terms of his integrity, corrupt practices, and so on and so forth. So corruption is as old as the world. It will remain with us. What people are saying is that the notion or the practice of people participating in corrupt practices with impunity, and people are not made to be accountable for the things that they do, that has got to stop, because those are the sort of things that when they are in place, it will reduce corruption to the barest minimum. Wiping it away completely, is utopic. It will not happen. I do not know anywhere in the world that it happened, but it has to be brought down in Nigeria to a manageable level, that it doesn't cause the kind of devastation, namely poverty, and so on and so forth, that Nigeria is experiencing today.
Thank you, sir. I have this last question for you, sir. What are the expectations of the Nigerians in diaspora from the next Nigeria president, 2023?
The expectation is actually not rocket science. Number one, Nigerians in diaspora will be very happy to see the next Nigerian president.
Business financial stress is hard on everyone. Your family, your children, your entire life can be affected. With constant harassing calls from creditors serving as a constant reminder of your financial crisis, it may be time to take action. That means you may want to expand your reach, increase your engagement, and boost your revenue. Then promoting your business on Clevenard is crucial. Promoting your business might sound daunting, but it's actually quite simple on Clevenard. Promotion is a great way to expand your reach, engage more customers, and grow your business, so why not put a couple of these tactics to use and start promoting your business today on Clevenard? With our 100% free user account. Let guide you every step of the way in getting your life back on track, and getting rid of those harassing creditors. Sign up now, to set up a free user account. Don't wait, you'll be glad you did.
Nigerian president that is a vibrant president, active, spend more time in Nigeria, sorting the problems in Nigeria, than spending more time in hospitals abroad. That is for a start. Secondly, Nigerians in diaspora expect to see the next Nigerian president that has vision and is able to succinctly articulate that vision. Nigerians in diaspora want to see a Nigerian president that not just talks about having values and integrity, but in their actions, you see practices. Their actions are littered with examples of things that are devoid of value, that are devoid of integrity. Nigerians in diaspora want to see that, as a thing of the past, so that when your president opens his mouth and speaks, you can actually take it to the bank and get a loan, because there is value in it, and it is a collateral. That is what the Nigerian diaspora want to see in the next president.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. I really had a nice conversation with you today, and I hope to see more of you and host you again some other time. Okay. We bring today's interview to an end, and viewers all over the world, we say thank you. Please stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to Cleveland TV, and I hope to see you some other time. Bye.
Thank you.